Ahoy there, listeners, and welcome to another episode of the Captain's Horror Meltdown. My name is Cammie, and I will be your captain on this journey, and I'm joined, as always, by my comrade on all these journeys, the ship's resident body modification expert.
Wow, is that a popular job on ships?
Well, considering there's only two of us on the ship.
And in fairness, you look like you've been heavily modified.
Barely a day goes by that I don't ask you for a wee bit of body modification. Well, it's a little bit of nipple splitting, maybe. Tongue splitting. I've got those crazy hoops in my ear.
Yep.
Yeah, I just look mental. I actually look like a sort of lizard man or something at the minute.
And especially when you sort of kept forgetting your glasses, so you just got me to kind of sculpt them onto your face.
Totally. So, it's quite well.
Unfortunately, they don't come off, and B, difficult to change the lenses, and C, awfully hard to clean the inside of them. But you know.
I was going to say it was good that you're an expert at body modification for this episode, but actually we've just discovered before recording this that you didn't really take any notes, so...
I did, but they're just pointless notes.
Great.
It's
it's going to be a fun episode.
They make as much sense as if you were playing Snakes and Ladders and just wrote down a play-by-play blow description of what happened to Snakes and Ladders. You're like, well, yeah, I know, I was there, I fucking saw it.
Yeah, went forward for, went up a ladder.
Basically, what I've done is make a very, very poor rundown of the story. It's like if you wrote a description on Wikipedia for something, but you're a bit drunk and couldn't read your own handwriting. That's what this is.
Excellent. No, I'm looking forward to hearing you delve deep into your notes.
Should be good.
I think we will. Obviously, as I think we said in the last episode, we're recording these a lot more. Sort of closer to the time that we're going to be recording them, so we can maybe get a little bit of... I've got a couple of things I just want to sort of briefly bring up before we get into it, but before I do that, something completely unfilm related that we've just been discussing on the phone. I just want to say to friends of the podcast, Doc, that the pilot Basil Grande Sour
oh, God.
is absolutely delicious.
Good. This is
fantastic. It's quite a strong beer, I think.
There we go. I'm glad you mentioned the name beer, because otherwise people, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah. It's a herbed sour with juicy berries and black pepper.
Well, I won't lie, it sounds fucking terrible, but I'll take your word on it.
Quite advanced, 6.1% volume.
Okay.
Lovely bit of packaging. Made in Leith, apparently, which
it is, yes.
Is quite a bold thing to say, because that could mean it's pretty wild. But yeah, no, it's delicious. I like it. It's very fruity, and it's got a very fine hint of basil.
You know, delicious. When I said we weren't going to edit these podcasts anymore.
Oh, right, okay, you're going to do that. Okay. Anyway, all right, well, I said to Doc that I would do it, so there you go, Doc.
Right, okay, brilliant. For the benefit of our... I suppose Doc must be, 50% of our listenership?
Yes, yeah, totally.
That's not so bad.
And Dave, friends of the podcast, Dave knew that I was also going to really get into that beer, so that 100% of our listeners are probably quite happy about the beer review.
Excellent. Well, hopefully they'll come back for the next episode.
Yeah, excellent. Please do, guys. So, yeah, no, what I wanted to discuss briefly in terms of horror news was so we're into December, festive month.
Yep.
We are rattling towards Christmas. Obviously, festive films are sort of something that we should be thinking about, and we might get back into festive films before the big day, I guess. But I just wanted to make two points. Previously reviewed film Anna and the Apocalypse has just come out on Blu Ray in the UK.
Oh, okay.
So
it's been on DVD for a while, is it not?
It's been on DVD for a while, but it's now after them thinking it would not come out on Blu Ray. A Second Sight picked it up for Blu Ray release over here, and I put it out in a beautiful double disc edition, which has not only the theatrical cut but also the extended director's cut.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I've yet to delve into that, but top work there. We're both of us big fans of that film, and a cracking Christmas horror musical set in Scotland with zombies. Happy days.
Not many of those knocking around.
Totally. Number one in its field. The other thing I wanted to say was I just, I guess regular listeners will have guessed that you live in the city, I live in the sticks. Local cinema that I think we've taken the piss out of on a number of occasions, but has been good to us in the past. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a nationwide release, are showing Gremlins this weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Gremlins back in the big screen, and Gremlins is now a 12 in the UK.
Mm-hmm. So
12A in the cinema. So 12A in the cinema.
Yeah.
So I have been angling that I may take Esme to see it.
Rachel's already told me to get to fuck with that.
Well,
I'm not even in the cinema, just like on video.
Marianne said earlier on that Esme could choose what she wanted to go and see, whether she wanted to go and see Elf or whether she wanted to go and see Gremlins. And then when she was telling her that Gremlins was on, she was like, Gremlins is a really scary horror film. Which is basically front-loading the question, really.
It is. That's unfair.
It is a bit unfair.
Maybe you should just had a trailer for both of them.
Well, I'm hoping. I know that's what I'd said as well, but no, I didn't get to do that. So if I don't get to take Esme at the weekend, I'll maybe have to take her to Elf. I'm still going to try and get to see it in the cinema. So, of course, Gremlins when we were kids was a 15.
It was, yeah, back in the day.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't have been surprised if it was still a 15 these days. It does deal with some fairly dark things, but.
Well, it does, but I mean, I guess the fairly dark things are quite adult, aren't they? Really, in terms of actual the sort of horror elements. Then, oh god, talking about horror elements, my cat is at the door trying to get in. Dearie me. Yeah, I mean, I guess, but I mean, a lot of the really dark stuff's going to wash over the heads of kids, isn't it?
Yeah. I was about to say that when I said it, I was like, I suppose, like, because I've mentioned many times in this podcast taking the boys to various things in the cinema, and to me as an adult, you're like, this is dark as fuck, and they are children's films, not specifically dark films I've taken them to, but children's films are just like, why are they so dark? Maybe they were always. I didn't really realise at the time because I was a kid. But yeah, so, and as you say, the darkness just washes over them, or possibly gets so ingrained that they will freak out in 10 years' time and kill people. I don't really know. That's
true. Who knows? Well, we didn't end up killing anybody that we know of. I'll tell you, actually, weird that you talk about films being dark, because Esme had her pals around the other day and they were watching Dora, the live-action Dora the Explorer film. Yeah. I went through and said, how's the film, kids? And they were all like, it's pretty dark. I was like, they must have picked that up from me, though, surely.
The darkness king.
It's not really a way how you describe it. And then they were saying, there was a bit when they all nearly drowned in a big chamber and stuff. I was like, that does sound actually pretty dark. Yeah, good. So I gave them all badges for the correct use of the term dark.
What badges did you give them?
Just like stars for correct use of the word dark.
Do you have a lot of those?
No, I don't. No.
Okay.
Right, okay, enough rambling. Will we move on to the actual film this week?
If we must.
Okay, so this week we are talking about American Mary from 2012.
Quite recent for us.
Directed by, very recent for us,
actually. Especially recent times, yeah.
Directed by Jen and Sylvia Soska, the Soska sisters, or the Soska twins. They are identical twin sisters, I believe.
Yes, they are. Yep.
And you have met the Soska sisters?
Met's a big
Not met them, you've seen them in the flesh.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah. They were doing, I think that this premiered at Fright Fest in London.
It did premiere at Fright Fest in London. Fright Fest is a pretty heavy backer of this film in particular, like through their weight behind it.
Very much. I mean, like, certainly when they did like a whole, like a UK-wide tour with it, essentially. I don't know how extensive it was, but it popped up in Edinburgh. And so, yeah, the film was there, and they were there, bit of chat in the film. And I think I mentioned this in the last podcast, but a genius piece of marketing was they were giving out pre-signed copies of the Blu Ray cover.
Yes, so you would buy the Blu Ray.
And then you could slot that in, which I duly did. And then, as I said before, office broken into and it was stolen. Cunt.
Magic.
So I had to re-buy this, unbelievably. And to be honest, all the stuff that I was stolen, I haven't rebought any of it apart from this.
Well, I would say, I mean, not to sort of get ahead of ourselves, but I would say that it's probably a good choice to rebuy it. But
yeah, I tell you, I was kind of vaguely close to meeting them properly, because after the film finished and we'd been to the bar for a few beers, we were walking back home. We were walking down Princess Street, and they were in front of us, like all the way down Princess Street.
Oh, you should have had a bit of chat with them.
Should have said something, or I couldn't tell what was more creepy, to just stay behind them and not say anything, or to kind of run up to them and say something. So
you looked like a stalker, basically, or you looked like a mad fan.
Yeah, it was a no-win situation. So yeah. So I just went being very kind of not. I was quite terrified of new people, so I just didn't say anything.
Were they attacking people in the way? Were they draining their blood, or like?
Unfortunately, not. They seemed like they were just having a
totally normal, enjoying Edinburgh.
Yeah, just enjoying the sights and having a wander around.
Totally. Sort of passing the castle, probably.
Yeah.
Thinking, oh, it's quite nice.
Yeah. Just the usual.
You're probably quite right not to bother them actually. Then
I think so. That's my MO usually. Unless someone's there to be met, I generally don't bother them.
No,
it was a very weirdly reversed at Dead by Dawn one year when Tony Todd bothered us, which was pretty fucked up.
Oh God, yeah. Well, I mean, I just picked up the Candyman Blu Ray in the Arrow sale.
Nice.
And it brought up some Tony Todd chat.
Yes, myself and I think it was Doc and Steve. It was maybe 4 or 5 of us.
Breakfast pints with Tony Todd.
Yeah, well, we're having breakfast in the film. It's God knows what some horrendous time of day, like 6 or 7 in the morning. And he just walked up to our table and said, "Do you mind if I join you?" I was like, holy shit, no, I guess. But what a lovely guy. Yeah. Not quite the horrendous hooky serial killer his films, the documentary Candyman would have us believe. Actually, a very pleasant chap.
Cool. I imagine he's lovely, but I also imagine that he's fairly terrifying at the same time.
Strong love of jazz.
Oh, heavy duty. Nice. Nice. Sweet. So, American Mary, 2012, Jen and Sylvia Soska. This is what are we going to say? This is definitely a body horror.
Yeah, I would say
genre.
So.
Body horror genre.
I think if you're looking at I think it does belong in the horror genre, no question about it. And I think and obviously they've just certainly recently remade Cronenberg's Rabid.
Yes,
they are also Canadian, so I'm guessing they might be a fan of Mr. Berg.
Yeah, well, actually, it's one of the things I was thinking about going into this. We have selected the film for next viewing. Actually, we have. But I was wondering, what's the one about the twins that he did? It did Ringers.
Oh, did Ringers? Yeah. That's a properly creepy film. That. Which
I've never seen.
Well, we'd
have the Canadian link. We'd have a bit of body horror link as well. So, Soska Sisters, and I'm going to give it a little. I'm going to do my usual.
Come on, Letterboxd. Come on, service Letterboxd.
Here we go, and they're saying that the tagline was appearances are everything, which I guess works.
It says it on the box.
Does it say in the box?
It does.
Nice. So the synopsis here. It's our classic Letterboxd synopsis, short and sweet. A young medical student struggling to pay tuition is drawn into the shady world of underground body modification. Now, keeping it short and sweet and spoiler free there, really.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really argue with that. It's fairly on point.
There's no argument to be had.
Got to say, these things are getting shorter and shorter.
Yeah, it'll get to the point where it just says blah.
Yeah, I'll just say a film.
Blood. Here's the thing, though, before we get into this, we can pick this up a little bit later. We'll start talking about the film in a second, but and of course there's going to be spoilers ahead, guys. We're sorry, but we're not sorry about it, actually. We're always going to be spoilerific.
If you haven't learned that by now, Jesus.
Now we can both ponder this while we go on. Why is it called American Mary? It was just when you mentioned Canada there. Like, so obviously it's meant to be in America, but she is called Bloody Mary, is she not? Is that not the name she gets? She's obviously called Mary in it, but is she? Is there any point in the film that they say American Mary?
I don't remember it. No, now you bring it up, it is slightly.
Because Bloody Mary would almost be a better tale.
I think it'd be a lot worse.
Would you?
Yeah, I think it makes it tacky. And this is not a tacky film.
It does sound a bit tacky. It makes it sound quite cocktail based.
Yeah.
It's not a tacky film at all. But yeah, I mean, it just seems like a weird, like almost like Mary would even be a better title. I don't know.
Yeah,
we've become used to American Mary now, but I just don't. I'm not quite getting the actual.
I wish you'd never brought it up, because now I'm thinking about it.
I'm sorry.
Jesus.
I didn't actually think about it until you said, "Oh, they're Canadian," and I thought, it's a bit weird that they called it American Mary.
Let's just destroy everyone's evening while they ponder that. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, but in fact, any listeners have any idea why it's called American Mary, then please get in touch and let us know.
I bet we could probably email them.
We probably could, actually.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll do that after we finish recording this.
You do that. They've got a website.
Yeah?
Yeah. I can't remember what it's called, but you'll find it.
Yeah, I'll find it. I'll get in touch with them. It'll be fine. It'll be cool. So, American Mary. So we meet Mary at the very start of the film. She is as it says, a young medical student and is struggling to pay off her student debt, starting to pay her tuition fees. Is obviously a very talented student, is doing very well, but
financially troubled.
Financially troubled, and she is offered she goes for a job in a strip club, and then she takes her CV in, which is a source of much amusement. and the owner of the club sees that she's a surgery student and says, "Oh, do you want to help stitch up a guy that we've battered fuck out of?" No questions asked. Here's some money, and that leads to her doing that job. Leads to one of the strippers who is into body modification. She's getting herself modified to look like Betty Boop.
And like, what a fucking scene that is, man. Like,
man, I mean,
when you first see her, just like, what is going on here?
It's one of the things I actually really love about this film is that it's like, so it's definitely a dark comedy a lot of the time. Yep. It's got a definite like dark comedy. It's got I bet Henry Lauder's a fan.
Yeah.
It's got a bit of Henry Lauder vibe about it. And it's got quite a sort of like sassiness in this terms of the scripts and stuff, which is great.
Very much, yeah.
It also plays quite a lot like a sort of 90s. It feels a lot like a sort of low budget 90s sort of erotic thriller or something. It's got a bit of it feels a bit like Bound or something like that.
Yeah, there's got like a very kind of
Bound or
sort of fairly unsavoury sexual underbelly to the whole thing.
What was the super sleazy 90s like? Remember that there was that whole sort of Basic Instinct was the sort of high point of it. Well, Sliver. It's got. Do you know what I mean? Like that sort of like. Well, no, but do you know what I mean in terms of like when you're in the club and you've got the club owner and all the rest. Like it's because it's a very well made film as well. Like, you know, it's quite slick.
It's really well made. I mean, I think that's one of the low budget. It's interesting. It's a really good character. The owner of the strip club, because it is that kind of. It's been done so many times, that sleazy strip club owner. But, you know, just as the film goes on, he just you know, immediately becomes not very sleazy at all, and just like a really fallible human being that is...
He becomes like a lost rabbit or something.
He does. He just like...
A lost soul. That
just, yeah, and he's... I just really like him in this. What's it? Antonio... No, I'm going to murder this. Antonio Cupo.
I'd say Cupo.
I'll go for Cupo as well. I really like him in this. I think he's great. I mean, it has props to Catherine Isabel as well, who plays Mary, who's fucking tremendous in this.
Oh, she is. She's incredible in it. Absolutely incredible performance.
Anyone a fan of Ginger Snaps will recognise her. Another, oh man, we should get around to that at some point. What a film that is.
Yeah, it's a belter. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, performances are all generally really, really cool. So,
but do you know what I mean? It's got that. It slips in and out of that. It goes from being a horror film to like a sort of a bit. It's got loads of dark comedy in it to sort of a sort of thrillery vibe. But it's like it's kind of like moving about all over the place all the time. But it completely works. It never feels like it's ever out. No part of it ever feels out of place. Yeah, it feels like a sort of coherent whole, which is lovely.
Yeah, it never feels disjointed.
No,
but sorry, I completely interrupted you in the story. Sorry about that.
No, but I mean, it completely rattles into the story. There's no fucking about with this at all.
Yeah,
I mean, it's maybe slightly longer than the official Captain's Horror Meltdown ideal runtime of 90 minutes. I would say actually probably our ideal runtime is maybe 89 minutes, the absolute classic runtime. But,
yeah, totally. I've got to be honest, actually, as you bring that up, I was about to watch Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw the other night with Rachel. And it was like 9 o'clock, so let's just fire that on. And there's me thinking, what's that? I can't be more than an hour and 40 or something. It was like, it's 2 hours and 15. We're like, oh, that's another night. Man. That's another night.
It's a total killer these days. I'm about to, God, and not to get distracted or anything, but in the build up to the new Star Wars film, I've decided that, and this is as punishing as this is, and I know it's punishment, and I know I shouldn't do it. I'm going to watch all the films, all 8 of the films leading up to it. Starting with The Phantom Menace, and I've not seen the prequels since the cinema, and I remember them all being fucking terrible.
It'll absolutely kill you. Those 3 films will fucking kill you.
So long as well, each one. Oh man.
I mean, Phantom Menace has got like a lot of cool stuff in it, but it's also just nah. I mean, it's got.
I'm going to do that. I've got to do it. I've got it in my head. I'm going to do it.
Of all the Star Wars films from me in it.
Aye, Spiky Pole Guy.
So that's the boy. Look at me with my twilight lightsabers, man.
Oh.
But you know, I love Darth Maul. That's it.
Darth Maul. That's the one.
Yeah. What a great character. But yeah, it's easily the highlight of that film. It was all downhill after that.
Shit, man. Shit. Well, we'll see. I'll report back on how that's going next time we record an episode, which won't be long. Yeah,
no, it won't be.
So, the film absolutely, they absolutely rattle into the film, but in no way, I mean, it's completely trimmed of fat, this film, I would say. We get straight into it. And if anything, it maybe slightly loses its way story-wise towards the end, but I don't even think it does. Maybe a tiny bit.
It does a little.
Not much.
Well, take us through the rest of the plot, Captain. Come on.
She meets this Betty Boop character, Beatrice, who says to her, "Look, you want to get more money? I've got loads of money. You want some money? Then I've got people. I get surgery done that some surgeons don't want to do.
Yeah."
And I've got a friend that does as well. She wants stuff done as well. And her friend wants to be turned into a human doll.
Yeah.
She wants to be desexualized.
Mm-hmm.
She wants her nipples cut off, stitched up again, and she wants her vagina sewn up.
Yeah, but sort of external genitalia, sort of.
Just enough left so that she can still take care of business, but yeah, she wants to be not completely non-sexualized.
Yeah. Wow.
And so Mary's like, what's it? She's offered 10 grand, I think it is, or something, is she?
I can't remember the figures, but it's a decent amount. Yeah.
So Mary gets involved in that as well, and then basically the film is just like her getting. She basically starts doing that, gets a bit involved, gets a bit of respect.
The big thing happens after that, which. Is she obviously she's still a surgery student.
A surgery student, and she's on the up and up. She thinks she's doing really well. She meets all these all the surgeons, all these like slick surgeons that are all giving it a fair bit of chat. She gets invited to a party where she's told, it's a surgeon's party. You're welcome to come along, and she is horrendously drugged and raped. And really interesting. By her lead
tutor, I think.
By her lead tutor, yeah. I mean, actually, the thing that I've seen this film a few times. The thing that actually really interested me this time around watching it, getting to that scene, was that the whole time she's so excited to be at that party and so nervous and excited to be there with all these proper surgeons that the whole time in the background there's stuff going on that she never notices.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? Yeah.
Like the whole time. I mean, there's like the whole party is full of I don't know, what are they? Prostitutes, probably.
I think they're prostitutes. Yeah.
And there's loads of like sex stuff going on all around her, but she never clocks any of it, even though it's happening like literally right next to her.
Yeah.
And then she's drugged and raped in an absolutely horrendous scene, which is like not physically graphic, but is very graphic and like just horrendous.
Yeah, I think thematically it's graphic. Definitely. You don't see.
It's not shot for kicks or anything like that.
No,
absolutely not. Holy shit. And she wakes up in the morning. The guy doesn't seem to give a fuck, and she drops out of her course and then goes full tilt into the modification world.
Yep.
And then she seeks revenge via her gangland connections against the guy that raped her.
Yep. Which is kind of you see more of later in the film, and it's just there you go.
So we're talking. I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, the world of horror's got a lot of rape revenge films in it. I mean, they all follow like quite a sort of similar pattern, really. Yeah. But I mean, this one really goes about it in a completely different way, I would say. The core mechanic in the middle of it is this sort of rape scene, but they get to that scene in a very different way, and then it sort of plays out in a very different way as well at the end. And in fact, like the sort of whole unraveling for her isn't really to do with her; it's to do with the club owner being so infatuated with her that he decides to take things a step further and get involved and start interfering with the other people that were in the party as well. Been there. So, but yeah, I mean, holy shit! I mean, her revenge is a bloody sweet.
Yeah, it's something else when you first like really see what she's been doing to him. You're like, oh, because it disappears for a while.
Yeah.
All the various modification stuff comes in, and then you eventually get back to this scene where she into like a warehouse kind of vibe where she has been keeping him. I mean, you first kind of see, because you don't really see what's happened to him as such, apart from that very first scene where she gets him. But then, Jesus Christ! So he's basically hooked up from the skin on his shoulders.
Yeah, sort of like Native American sort of Sundance sort of style, like hooked through the skin. Quite Ichi the Killer style as well, actually.
Absolutely. No limbs.
No limb, completely de-limbed.
Yep.
Stumpy. They call him Stumpy. Yeah. If you were down the pub with him, he'd probably be called Stumpy.
Certainly in this neck of the woods. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, she's practicing body modification techniques on him. She's just like, it's utterly wigged out. And the beauty of it as well is that like you said, she comes out of this horrendous rape, sort of gathers herself. This guy's brought back to her very quickly. I mean, straight after the rape, basically, we're straight into the scene. She starts, she sort of injects him and says, "Right, I'm gonna fuck you up, basically, for what you did to me," and then it just disappears for ages.
Yeah,
but what a payoff!
It's almost like you assumed he died or something.
Oh, totally.
Because a lot of time passes in the film where you don't see the guy, and then when you get the reveal, you're like, "Oh, okay, right, there you go."
Yeah. No, it's great. I mean, it's really beautifully done. And then we get the sort of her. She becomes a big thing in the sort of underground world because it's actually the Soska sisters, isn't it?
Yeah.
They come to her for some.
That's right. Yeah. So they're in the film.
Directors are in the film.
Really cool scene, actually. Really cool scene.
Yeah, totally. And they're German.
Yeah, they play
German
twins.
body modification like twins that run the sort of the world's biggest sort of body modification like dark web site, and they want to have their left arms swapped.
Yep.
So
they've always got a part of each other. Yeah.
And they want to be turned into demons, which is great. But I mean, sort of ultimately, it all goes tits up for Mary. In the end, she gets her comeuppance. She gets killed at the end.
Yeah.
Effectively.
That's quite succinct.
That's it.
Yeah, I would say one of the modifications she does comes back to haunt her. But not from the person who did the modification to.
No.
I have to say, and I've got to be, one of the things that really irks me, and it's maybe just a sign of the times in filmmaking and how nervous you are of audiences getting what's going on, is how they had to go back and explain why this last scene, why this person is coming to kill Mary. And I was are you having a laugh? It's like, because you see the husband of the Barbie person, he's not fucking impressed by what's happened.
Quite really.
And
I say quite really, but I mean, actually, you'd think that if you were married to or going out with that person, you would know what the fuck the story was, and you wouldn't. Do you know what I mean?
You'd be like,
you're not going to be upset about it.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's just a man being a dick, basically, in this film.
Yeah, essentially. Yep. So like a documentary. But yeah, it's that was the only thing that really annoyed me about the film, and I don't know why they put it in. Again, we should email them and say, look, were you scared the audience wouldn't figure out why this was happening? Or because it happens a lot in films in the States. Like, we've talked about it a lot. You get these little flashbacks to earlier in the film in case people have forgotten what happened half an hour ago. You're like, are you fucking having a laugh?
Yeah.
Or they're just like so dumb they can't figure it out.
I guess the only thing I would say is that the boyfriend is in the film earlier on so briefly that you might not recognise that that's who it is. I mean, he's in the film very briefly.
Yeah, it's still
seconds, probably seconds.
Yeah, but nah. Still.
Do you know what?
Maybe it was that, and maybe in the maybe it's, have we actually explained it properly? I don't know, but
yeah, maybe. Do you know what annoyed me in the film? The one thing that annoyed me in the film. Can you guess what it is? Can you guess what annoyed me in the film?
Well, you're always very hard to track. It can be anything from the whole film to someone eating a packet of crisps. I can never tell.
No, right, okay, I'll tell you what it was. So, but this sort of ties into, we were having a bit of a chat via text while we were watching the film as well.
Yeah.
And I was saying to you, I had some sound issues, but it's not directly to do with the sound issues, right?
Okay.
It is, so the detective in the film, Detective Delore.
Yeah.
Who's like very much a sort of Giallo style detective.
I was going to say, it's like he's been, they've taken their inspiration from him they've probably watched a lot of Argento films and found, like, what is the worst actor of all detectives in Argento films? And basically showed this guy that part and said, do this.
But what is, like not only is his role like utterly stupid, really. I mean, like, the cop, he's the cop, he turns up and asks her like a couple of questions and just wanders off.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, he's a terrible detective. But also, was he dubbed? Or what accent was he trying to speak?
Oh, I couldn't fathom his voice at all.
Insane. It gave me the vibe, it gave me the real Giallo vibe of like someone speaking English, but the original actor had been Italian.
Yeah,
speaking Italian, they dubbed him, but they'd got someone that was Spanish to dub the English accent or something. Do you know what I mean? It was really fucking distracting. Another thing that I'd like to pick up on was That and not that it's annoyed me at all, but like just talking about the film, how the film sort of like sort of slightly genre bending in terms of the tone and vibe and stuff as well. But the actress Tristan Risk, who plays Beatrice, who is trying to have surgery to look like Betty Boop, it's quite a wild makeup effect they've got on her. Like,
it's crazy. It's
like you're the whole time. The minute she's on the screen, you're just like kind of you can't look anywhere else. Really.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
It's brilliant for me. Immediately it's like, oh, I'm weirded out right now. I'm just like, what is going on? Totally. I mean, they've completely nailed all that sort of stuff, and apparently a lot of the people that are in the film are actually part of the body modification community. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's people with split tongues and stuff, so that's definitely, you can't. You're not going to get a sort of fake effect.
Well, it's all practical effects. So anything that looks anything like that, you're like, well, okay, that's actually just that's their tongue.
Yeah,
and so it was quite nice to try. Spotting the things. I wonder what's real, what's not, and all that kind of business. But oh man, the Betty Boop thing was just like, whoa, wow! It's just one of the
actually wigged out. She was like, she really reminded me of this. Just when she first came on again, watching it, like I said, I've seen it before, but it really gave me flashbacks to a film that I only saw at the time. So
right,
I must have been a child. Was Dick Tracy?
Oh right, yeah.
Do you remember that? Really heavily made up like characters, and she's kind of like. Because she's Betty Boop, she's like a 1920s sort of mall sort of thing. But also like really practically made up. Like it was I was like, man, this is giving me weird flashbacks to being a kid and going to see Dick Tracy in the cinema.
Because that was weird, man. That was
fucking weird, man. Totally.
It reminds me of a dirty secret. It's actually the first single I ever bought in my entire life was Hanky Panky by Madonna.
No way.
Yeah.
From the Dick Tracy soundtrack.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I went to see the film with my folks actually in the cinema.
Well, I must have as well, I guess. But
yeah, because I remember my folks, I remember my dad being like, oh yeah, no, like, we're going to check out like Madonna. Like Warren Beatty, blah blah blah, all these big names. Do you know what I mean? Mad.
Yeah, crazy film, absolutely crazy. I quite fancy going back to have a wee look at that.
Totally. Yeah. No, I would be interested to see what it's like again. I mean, really long time since I saw that one. Jesus.
Yeah,
it's quite out there, really out there. I don't know what they were doing.
The more you're talking about it, I'm just like, man. The more I think about it, it's like, how did that get made? And how are these people in it?
Let's do like a 1930s cartoon, but actually make everyone physically look like the actual cartoon.
Fucking
and make
insanity.
It the same sort of palette and stuff.
Absolute insanity.
Absolutely wild. I'm just going to have a quick look over my notes.
Are they great?
One of my notes just says, Tessa darling, don't be a cunt. which was a great quote from it. I was questioning the practicality of doing surgery in a set of sussies.
Yeah, it's an interesting look.
Definitely.
Pretty, it's a selling point, I guess.
Yeah. I also noted that when she gets Antonio Cupo initially, and she's injecting him in the jaws, he's just gaffer taped down. Do you think he'd get out of gaffer tape, or do you think he'd be able to?
Hang on, who's that?
Antonio Cupo, that's the strip club owner. It's the bad guy. What's the bad guy called again?
Bobby Cadavro.
Now that would be absolutely amazing. Now hold on, I'm going to find the name of that guy.
David Lovegreen.
Jimmy Giblets.
No, honestly, David Lovegreen. I've not made that up.
David Lovegreen. All right, okay, cool.
Playing Dr. Alan Grant.
Yes, Dr. Alan Grant. Yeah, he's just taped down with gaffer tape. Do you think you'd be able to get a gaffer tape?
I saw that, and the gaffer tape wasn't that tight either.
Yeah, it wasn't that tight. It was a bit flappy. I reckon I'd have been able to get that.
I mean, as a man who's like, I use gaffer tape a lot for my work, which is not serial killing before you ask.
I use a lot of gaff tape in my work as well.
Exactly. I'm pretty kind of like, this needs to be fucking, basically like a nail. It's going to
exactly.
be. I don't need air in this because that's when things go wrong.
Exactly. Don't it flapping about.
Yeah. So it's an astute observation and one I completely agree with. I think it was bad gaffer taping.
But it was bad gaffer taping. I don't think it should have gotten away with that. Really. My only other note of note is really that she's got a bit of a Morticia Addams vibe at times.
You're talking to a man who didn't really watch the Addams Family, so I don't know.
Well, there you go. Well, I would say she does at times. But I mean, I think that overall, are we going to get into the ratings? Should we get into the ratings?
I think so. I mean, yeah, fire away. I mean, what's your general vibe?
It's a weird. It's also. I mean, it's a fairly hard 18, which we'll get into in our later section. It's very bloody and it's very adult, but it almost doesn't feel like a horror film a lot of the time as well.
Well, I don't think
it's quite thrillery.
Yeah, but I think it's almost played like a tragedy, I don't think they've not really gone for out and out horror thrills. I mean, especially because I fucking hate watching any kind of surgery on screen. It fucking destroys me. And so when the first kind of one happened, I was just like, I hadn't seen it for a while. I was like, oh God, is this graphic? I can't really remember. Oh God, I'm scared. But it's not really.
I mean, I'm with you on that.
They stay away from the obvious gross outs.
Yeah, totally. No, absolutely. No. I mean, and I think it is quite, definitely like heavy duty feminist vibes. Strong women taking control of everything, of every situation, fighting back, winning. So it doesn't really fall into a lot of the sort of pitfalls a lot of these films would fall into, a lot of the tropes that we'd be used to. You know?
Yeah. So it definitely it came out, and when I first saw it, I was like, this is actually pretty cool and unique, and it's different, and
it's really interesting actually. That I don't know, I've not looked into it at all, but the whole when she goes along right at the start of the film to get the interview, which, yes, to be fair, is for she's interviewing to get a job at a strip club, but it's got definite oh my God, what do you call him? Oh my God, what's the guy from Miramax called again?
Weinstein.
Definite Weinstein vibes. Do you know what I mean? That sort of like level of creepiness, and it's really interesting that character, which is Antonio Cupo, does sort of starts off in that sort of sleazy way, and then totally flips and totally falls for her. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's I kind of love that little transition. And it's
great. Oh, I'll tell you one other thing that does pop to mind. Another great character in it is Lance, who's the sort of like massive, absolutely huge sort of enforcer for the club, bodyguard. For Antonio Cupo, just like cool. About who really takes to Mary and really sort of bonds with her.
I love that little scene where he shares the milkshake. Yeah, it's very cool.
It's an absolute cracker of a scene. It's almost like the sort of Jaws sitting around the table scene of the movie. Do you know what I mean? And just like, I mean, I don't know, I've not really looked into the guy, but he didn't really strike me as an actor. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think
there's quite a lot of non-actors in this film.
I don't think I found him really listed anywhere. He may have done other stuff, but I do not know. But yeah, he was great. He actually, he made me. He made my heart sing a little bit. That guy.
Yeah,
I just liked him. It's just like, I think I like this. I think I'd maybe like him in real life because I guess that's just him.
Yeah, I mean, like he's talking about like horrible stuff, but in a really nice way. Which is, do you know what I mean? It's great. I really liked him. A sort of really nice sort of philosophical outlook for someone that basically kills people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
It's great. Yeah, well, I'm going to get into my rating anyway. I'm going to give it, I think probably, you can imagine where I'm going to go with this. I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up.
Oh, 2 thumbs up. The highest rating.
The highest rating that we can get. I really, do you know, and also, when I finished watching it, I went to log it, and this is the 3rd time that I've watched it, and yeah, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It's a thoroughly enjoyable little film.
Yep.
I would highly recommend it to anybody.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. For me, it's a definite 2 thumbs up. And it's just kind of weird because I was had a few minutes just to kind of delve around reviews and stuff. But, it only really seems to be...
How did it do the time?
Not great. I mean, not bad, certainly. But it was, it was above average. I mean, for me, it was just like, someone gives it 6 out of 10. It's like, I don't really understand.
I don't get that. I don't get that. I mean,
what's wrong with you?
Catherine, we didn't really talk about her much in the sort of preceding chat, but Catherine Isabel, you did mention her, but I mean, like obviously as the lead, she is brilliant.
Oh, she's flawless.
She's absolutely brilliant. Fantastic. And I think that everybody in the film really, at the level of this film, is fantastic.
Yeah,
except for the Detective Delore.
Yeah, take Detective Argento out of the equation, and
but I think he's probably been hired on purpose to be that character.
I think you're totally right. I think you're right. And he played it extremely well. Cause God almighty.
Totally. But I mean, it's really. I mean, it's well acted. It's got a great little script.
The thing is, everybody was engaging. I mean, that's all you want from people acting on screen, is you want to engage with them, and there's not one person I didn't engage with in some way or another. I didn't find one person just go, oh, they don't need to be here. That never happened.
No, there's a little bit of a lull, I would say, in the sort of just before the 3rd act of the film. There's a little bit of a lull there, but I would say that in general, like, the film generally zips along, and it's it's well shot, well acted. It's got a great little script. It's a lovely little story. So yeah, I mean, definitely, I'm happy to give it 2 thumbs up.
Wow, that's the highest captain's rating.
The highest captain's rating you can get.
And what am I again?
There are many ratings.
The ship's body modificationist, if that's a term, will also give it 2 thumbs up.
Oh, well, there you go.
The highest rating, 4 thumbs. 4 thumbs. Totally. Wow.
Which is what some of the people that you've modified their bodies actually have.
Yes, indeed. To be honest, most people I modify usually give it 2 thumbs down because it's not what they asked for. I mean, basically, could you just take in my cheeks a little bit, and they wake up and they've got a cock and ball sewn to their head, and that's just one of those things, isn't it?
It's always a good laugh.
I'm an interpretive modificationist.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. People don't come to you for, I mean, I say people, I mean me, usually. Most of us don't come to you for, we don't expect to tell you exactly what we want and to get it. We just expect to tell you something that we want, and just who knows what we'll get.
Exactly. It might not happen this time, but I'll keep it in mind. And sometime down the line, after you've said, could you remove at least one of the balls from my head? I'll go, okay, and then I'll maybe do the half of the thing you asked me to do in the first place. To
be fair, some of the language that's on my body now is absolutely horrendous. But
it's not. But it makes Marianne laugh, so
It does, I know. And most of the time I'm covered up anyway, so it's only me that sees it. So, excellent. All right, well, 4 thumbs up, all right, for American Mary. Shall we move on to our Blu Ray review?
Yes, let's do that.
Woo, Blue! It's the Blu Ray review, so yeah. Blue! It's the Blu Ray review, so yeah. Blue! It's the Blu Ray review, so yeah. Blue! It's the Blu Ray review.
Oh, here we are back. We're back again now. And both of us have picked up the UK Blu-ray.
Yeah, I didn't delve into other versions, I've got to admit. I don't know if you have or not.
So I've looked at it to see what the crack is. I think the big difference is that the American Blu-ray has a commentary by the Soska sisters
does it?
and Catherine Isabel.
Oh, bastards.
Which is which is missing, I think, from every other version.
Why does this happen?
I don't know. Why would it happen?
Oh, it pisses me off.
Yeah.
Why do we get stiffed so badly here?
I don't know.
It's the same studio, is it not? What the fuck?
Yeah, well, this is the other thing that we never mentioned. It's bloody Universal made it.
Exactly. Well, they certainly picked it up.
Certainly picked it up, which is wild.
So it's Universal in the States as well?
It's not released by Universal in the States, though.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Typical big fat studio. We'll buy your film and we'll just fucking lob it onto a disc and get rid of it.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll tell you what. So the big difference is, so the American Blu-ray has director's commentary by the Soska sisters with Catherine Isabel and Tristan Risk, who plays the Betty Boop character, and also has the making of American Mary. But the other versions, which are Germany and UK, have an American Mary in London as a feature as well.
Yep.
Which is the
Fright Fest Americans feature. Get that as well?
They don't get that, no.
Okay. Okay.
But there's also a Australian version which doesn't have the American Mary in London, but has the Soskas Down Under feature.
Oh, well, that sounds sexy.
So who knows what that is? But yeah, basically the German and UK release is the same release, I believe.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's not laden in extras, I'll be honest. And I did you go through them at all? When I say them, I literally mean both of them.
I watched an American Mary in London. I didn't watch I started to watch the behind the scene featurette, and then I thought, I'll finish watching this tomorrow, and I didn't get round to it. But it seemed to be a fairly standard behind the scenes, like sort of.
Not great. I mean, I think the
EPK.
Yeah, I think you can pretty much dismiss that one. I think the American Mary in London one was quite nice. I quite liked that.
It was nice to see. I mean, it made me really want to go to Fright Fest in London.
Yeah, totally.
I think we've got to do it at some point, man.
Yeah, because we
went to Eurofest, which was a precursor of Fright Fest, I think.
Yeah, it really annoyed a lot of people as well.
Yeah, totally.
Not on purpose, but you know. Didn't quite understand the vibe.
Well, that would have been 1995, I think, that we went to that.
Yeah, it was definitely just out of high school, I guess.
Or
maybe even still in high school. I can't remember. But yeah, Fright Fest probably should. I mean, I quite enjoyed I liked watching the Fright Fest, like the little American Mary London thing. Just to see how excited they were to have their film shown.
Totally, it was like lovely to actually see. Not only to see the Soska sisters, who are like, I think they'd be happy with me saying that, are like, you know, like pretty wigged out themselves.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They're like identical twin sisters, and they've got great chat, great banter, and they were dressed absolutely wildly. But they're just they've got a definite sinister vibe to them. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
And they were hanging out with Catherine Isabel as well. In that documentary, and it's just seeing them going out there in front of the crowd and sort of getting the buzz that they were getting. Also, they went in the dark and came out in the daylight, so I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah, I think it was nice to see that, and I like to. It's nice to see people who have made another, you know, that's maybe their second feature, but it's just nice to see folk excited about other people seeing their film, like to that extent. Just like be like, oh, this is fucking amazing. Like this you know, like I think it said like it was like 2,500 people cinema or something. It's fucking insanity.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, it's like a stadium. Huge. But just like and to actually see them feeding off the buzz from that was very, very cool.
Yeah, totally. No, it was cool. It was great to see them doing that, and it was like, you know, it's a bit of a throwaway. You're not going to learn anything very much in that documentary.
No, it's a bit just like we're wandering around.
It's a nice little bonus. It's quite enjoyable.
But it's I'm not going to say it's not a deal breaker, but it's a nice little thing to have. But I guess let's be honest. Our main thing is always, what did you make of the feature?
the quality of the feature. So this is a tale of two stories here, really.
Yeah.
The film was shot in 2012. Was shot entirely and it was shot digitally.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no problem in terms of any print damage or anything like that. We're not talking. It's a clean looking. I mean, the picture quality is great. There's no problem with the picture quality at all. It's not a high budget film at all. So any of the flaws in the actual quality of the film there's no flaws in the actual quality of the film, but it's anything that you're like, this is it looks a little bit cheap in parts. It's maybe a little bit underlit in parts. Maybe that's exactly how they wanted it to be, but there's no sort of digital problem with there's no problem with grain or anything like that. The audio I had a real problem with.
This is interesting because I think we've got two different things on this. I don't know. This is weird.
So I think you've got the exact opposite, don't you?
Yeah, my audio seemed fine. Now, my picture
the separation of the audio was really weird in my copy. Really weird.
I'd be interested to watch it again and try and figure out, because the audio, I can't see how the audio would be any different. I don't really know, but
well, it was just. I think the thing with me was, so it's a DTS 5.1 surround audio track. It just, I don't know. Maybe I've got my system set up wrong at the minute or something, but it felt like everything was coming equally through the back as well as the front.
Right.
And there was like a weird separation of sound as well. Like, so, yeah, I'm not willing to give it a bad mark though, because I just don't know if it's the thing is as well, I was playing it through my PlayStation, which
right.
I've had problems with in the past, like with whether you've got the PlayStation set to decode it or whether you've got the amp to decode it. Now my amp should be totally fine for decoding it.
Yeah.
Should be no problem. I've got my amps actually should be fine for right up to sort of 4K releases. But yeah, I don't know. Like I had a bit of a problem with the audio in mine. But yeah, picture wise, I had no problem.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I mean, I didn't really detect any. I think there was maybe some ADR work at points, which is a bit distracting. But
I think that I'm glad that you brought that up actually, because I think that there was quite a lot of ADR stuff that was really distracting me as well. That it sounds so. That's what I mean by it sounds so separate from the film. Do you know what I mean?
I didn't get that vibe from it. It was just like, I think they've just done something. I can't really figure out what it is. Maybe it didn't go perfectly on set, and they've like, but it wasn't particularly distracting, and the only problem I had was just a problem with the disc, essentially, and we absolutely fucking batter on about how great CEX is, but they sent me a fucking catastrophe. I'm going to be honest.
Are you going to take it back?
I don't know. I mean, is it scuffed? No, that's the thing. It's not. But I don't know. You won't be able to pick this up. But I don't know what this is. Can I?
Oh yeah, I can.
Can you see speckles on it or something?
Yeah, I can see a little bit of something. Like yeah.
So it was weird. It was like there's like all these little speckles on it. I thought, oh god, it's like some sort of rock set into the disc. But I managed to clean 85% of it off, which you think, oh my god, what was on that disc?
What are people doing with their discs?
Exactly, and why aren't CEX fucking sorting it out? Anyway, absolute bullshit. Nothing to do with the film. That's just the peril you take in buying something secondhand. But do you remember Soska Sisters? I did buy it originally in the first place.
Yeah, I would say that as well, that especially if you're in the UK, I don't know what things are like in the States, but we had a situation recently where the sort of, Amazon obviously have most of the market stitched up, but the sort of the biggest rival sort of nationwide on the high street and on the internet, HMV, went bust for a little while last year, and Amazon took the opportunity to absolutely jack their prices up to a ridiculous level, like, you know, right up to, you know, any savings that they had before completely gone. And that's not really disappeared. And it has pushed me into the second-hand market in a way that I didn't really do before. I mean, I try and buy anything that's a new release, I try and buy direct from the label. But anything that's been out for a while, I'm going to try and go second-hand.
Yeah, I do as well. I mean, I always kind of have. But you're on point with Amazon, certainly when it comes to films. Everything
I don't know about anything else.
Everything else, not so much, because I've kind of. But if you are an Amazon user, I implore you, if you see something on Amazon, check the price somewhere else, because
absolutely
you are not always getting a bargain.
Well, the thing is, you've got used to it being cheap on Amazon. So you think Amazon's going to be the cheapest place. You don't check anywhere else, and quite often you're paying a lot more.
Yeah.
My problem is,
I think it's like, especially in the case of, you know, when it comes to films, it's especially true. I'm going to go a very short rant.
No, go for it.
You look at a film on Blu Ray, right? Look at it this way. Say if you want to buy an Arrow film. Say if you want to buy an 88 Films film. Say if you want to buy a genre film like this. For God's sake, buy it from the people that are releasing it, if you can.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't state it enough. I mean, you'll be lucky if you spend more than £1. But the key difference is the label takes all of that money and they get to put
all of the money.
They get to put out more content. And that's all you need to know. I mean, God knows, maybe 50% of the price has been stripped by the time you go to... It could be Amazon, HMV, could be anything. They're a reseller. So they buy it cheap. Why don't you just pay full price from the guys that made the fucking film that you love and get it that way, and make sure you get make sure you keep these guys in business.
Yeah, totally. Because if they all go tits up, then we're fucked. And it's
totally.
all we're still hardcore fans of digital of actual physical releases. And if you know the you know what we're in danger of is we're in danger, and I've heard people complaining about Arrow releasing films like RoboCop and stuff.
What's this complain about?
Stop complaining about it. We're getting, like, you know, we've got great boutique labels releasing great films and doing great things with those films. If we don't support them, then we're going to end up having basically, you know, paying over the odds for digital releases, streaming stuff. And I'm sorry, but, like, you know, the quality is just not up there. I'm not. It's not. You're not going to be. I mean,
it's a fallacy. I mean, you know, put it this way, right? Okay, I have just got RoboCop, and I watched it last night. Well, sorry, a couple of nights ago after American Mary, because I was kind of really buoyed by American Mary. I was like, yeah, I want to watch another film. That's how good this film made me feel. And so I had just got RoboCop. Mitch's fault.
Friend of the podcast, Mitch. Oh, actually, third listener to the podcast.
Yep. Okay. Oh, right. So, sorry.
Does Mitch actually listen to podcasts?
I think he does.
Sure he does.
He fucking better. He was on it, for Christ's sake. But yeah, so I put on RoboCop last night. I tell you what, I think I went to watch RoboCop on a streaming service once and turned it off after 2 minutes. I was like, the quality's fucked. This isn't good enough. I'm not having it. I've put the Arrow one on the other night. I was fucking ecstatic. It looks incredible. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't look like fucking the newest film ever made, because it was made many years ago, but it looks tremendous for the source. And I bought it directly from Arrow. I had to pay them a fucking pound postage. What is that? It's fucking nothing. It's nothing.
Zero.
It's like, I'll get it on Prime and I'll pay no postage. Just give them an extra quid for fuck's sake. Keep them making this stuff, because I tell you, that RoboCop release is absolutely tremendous. Anyone who gives Arrow shit for releasing that can fuck off and die, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I'm the same as well. I mean, all these people complaining about him going mainstream is like total bullshit. I mean, fanboys really need to start like catching themselves and seeing what they're complaining about. Do you know what I mean?
It's like people
like even
just get
if,
some
even
fucking friends. Just get some friends.
Well, even if Arrow released fucking like out of every 10 films, 5 of them were mainstream films and 5 of them were horror films, who would care as long as they're releasing the 5 horror films?
Exactly.
Who cares?
You buy it from them, they'll keep doing it.
Exactly.
End of story.
That's where we need to put our money. That is where we need to put our money. Exactly.
Oof, that's a wee aside, but there you go.
There was a little rant there. Well, we got it over and done with. But yeah, I mean, I would, I'd recommend it. I mean, it's a basic Blu-ray, but it's cheap as chips out there now.
Yeah, totally. Get it bought. Just
get it bought. Come on, get it bought. Yeah. Are you gonna? So what do we do next? I always forget. Do we do?
Well, we're on to the James Ferman, which is a non-existent part.
That's right. James Ferman. What would James Ferman think? I will tell you. We know that he didn't get a chance to think about it because he was dead. But I would say that this would have been. He'd have been spinning in his grave with this one.
Do you reckon spinning in his grave? I'm not sure.
What do you think he would have been doing?
Just as usual.
Rubbing his
wanking into a sock.
Wanking into a sock. Yeah, okay.
I mean, as far as I've seen, there's been no cuts made to this film.
There's no cuts made to it at all. But do you think Ferman? Would Ferman have been upset with that?
Yes, he definitely would have cut stuff. There's no question about it. But I think it would be cuttable. He wouldn't have banned it or anything.
No, he wouldn't have banned it. No.
Because especially like I mentioned with the surgery stuff, it's very
tastefully done.
Yeah, it's not graphic. So I don't think there would be any problems there. I think it would have been very mildly cut back in his. Depends at what, if it was released way back in the day, maybe a bit more cut. But
yeah, I mean, I guess it is pretty tastefully done. But I mean, yeah. So I think we can draw that little section to a close.
Yes, it won't be getting
bit of a short one.
It won't be getting its theme tune because it's awfully short.
Aye, awfully short. I'll tell you what though.
Yeah.
So we're going to say love it or leave it.
Love it or list it. Jesus, man.
Love it or list it. I'm going to keep hold of this.
Yeah, I'm going to love it. I can see me watching this again easily.
I can see me watching it again. I think it's brilliant. I think it's great. I think it's a good and it's an easy one to chuck on at any time. I don't think you have to be in the mood for this one.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. I think it's like, oh yeah, American Mary, fucking great.
Yeah, totally, it's great,
and it is it passes the time super quick, and it's got so many nice elements in it. The acting great, you can't really argue with it.
Nah, top notch, excellent. All right, well, shall we wrap it up for here then?
Yes. So, Captain, what are we on to next?
We are on to it's next.
I guess there'll be no side missions, I don't think, because
no side missions. I think we're sticking to the chain, aren't we?
Horror season is done.
Horror season is done. Horror season in the cinema is done. We're past the spookiest month of the year, October, and we're firmly in festive season just now. And interesting one, this actually. We had a little bit of a discussion about it. So, American Mary very, very much recognised as a body horror in the body horror genre of filmmaking, although this deals with body modification as a sort of as a theme. Realised that and I know this is a film that you love, and you've loved this film since we were a kid. I remember you loving this film at school. It's a film that I've only seen once ever. I saw it on television as a child as well, and I've not seen it since. I'm very excited to sort of return to it. It is the granddaddy, I would say, of body horror.
Yep.
The Fly.
Oh yeah, David Cronenberg's The Fly.
David Cronenberg's The Fly, not the original version of The Fly, but David Cronenberg's The Fly, which I think is really the version of The Fly, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, The Fly was an interesting film back in the time, but holy fuck, you know, when if you're going to remake something, remake it like this. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I am really like super excited to see it because I have like I said, I think probably it feels to me like I saw it on Moviedrome, but whether or not I actually did see it on Moviedrome is another story. So let's see. Obviously, Jeff Goldblum, Gina Davis, 1986, The Fly, David Cronenberg. Yes. Let's have a look at it. Let's see what the crack is.
Come on!
And so if you have a copy of the Blu Ray of The Fly kicking about, or a DVD, or a VHS even,
or even if it's just in your mind.
Even if it's just in your mind, we'll be back. And I mean, I really will be coming to this, like really not knowing, but I
that's a lot of years since you've seen this, man.
I've got no idea what I'm walking into again. So, can't wait to watch it. Really excited about it. So, thanks for listening, and join us next time for The Fly.
Huzzah! Night, folks.
Night.